Hi guys, Joseph here. Now today I'd like to talk to you about how to get success in your life. Now this could be something about letting go of a problem, or it could be actually achieving a goal that you would like to. So whatever it is, I do really believe that if you apply this philosophy, this kind of mindset, these steps, and you follow through with them with consistency, I do believe you will get to your goal, or you will let go of a certain issue in your life. I just really believe that if you do, it just gets you in the right mentality of success. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the notion of responsibility. So if you think about a goal in mind, we have to be responsible for that goal. I mean, we can't rely on the economy to make it happen. We cannot rely on people, maybe in our life, maybe our friends, our families, to make that goal happen for ourselves. At the end of the day, we must assume responsibility for the goal. We must take responsibility and to refuse to buy into any more excuses. Now that's a big one. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things I've ever learned in life about the notion of taking responsibility for my life or for my goals. But it's one that once we do, we really take back the power and the control over where we're heading and where we want to be. Because if you just keep on living by your excuses and your reasons as to maybe why you are like you are, regardless of how you developed the problem, maybe it was someone else was a part of that which created that issue. But regardless of our past experiences, we have to assume responsibility because our past has brought us to here. But what we do here will allow us to make the change or not. And only we can do that. We must step up and assume responsibility for our goal. As I said, no one's going to do it for you. Yeah, of course, people may help you, but you're the person who it really depends upon. So really assume responsibility for the goal that you would like to. And as I said, it's a big one because that means it's all on us. But we got to change our mindset into one, yes, it is all on us, and that's great because I have control. We don't want to be continue pushing out everything or the blame onto other people or have reasons as to why we haven't got our goal. It always comes back to us. We must assume that responsibility. Now, if we've assumed responsibility, which I believe you will do now, because at the end of the day, it's the most empowering thing we can do in our own life. If we do assume that responsibility, the next step is to know our outcome. And the idea of knowing your outcome is really important because we have to know it in a way that actually works for us. And let me explain exactly how. I mean, it's all about our power of focus. Now, if I say to you, don't think of a blue tree, the first thing which probably pops up into your mind is a blue tree, despite me saying don't think of it. It's just a simple idea. We've probably heard of that before, but at the end of the day, that is how our mind works. So we have to be clear on our outcome and state it in the positive to ourselves. You do not want to be saying things such just like, I don't want to be more in debt. What comes up in your mind when I say that sentence? I don't want to be more in debt. You think of debt. The debt is the thing, or more debt, pops up into your mind. Whether you see it in your mind, or you hear it, or you have a feeling resonating to it, it's not going to make us feel good. Usually, those thoughts, feelings we have do not resonate with us in a way which is positive. In fact, it's usually adding fear and scarcity to our mindset. And the same thing goes for anything like that. I don't want another bad relationship. The thing what's clear in your mind is another bad relationship. So whatever your goal is, we must shift our attention to not what we don't want anymore. We must assume responsibility to focus on what we do want. So that means our unconscious mind looks for it. I mean, let's put it another little metaphor which I've always used because I just thought about it, it just makes sense. Imagine if you have a satellite navigation system or some kind of GPS system. What's the first thing that you do when it's all turned on and you need to get to where you want to be? Well, you put in your destination. You do not put in every place that you do not want to visit. You don't put in all the areas and the cities and the landmarks where you don't want to go. You go straight to your destination. Now think about that in terms of you focusing and putting your attention on your outcome. Or in this case, in that metaphor, focusing on everything that you don't want. If you focus on everything that you don't want, you're going to end up visiting that place. It's like you're setting your own satellite navigation or GPS to the locations that you don't want to by saying or considering the goal of what I don't want. We must put in the destination to our unconscious mind in the positive, and then it will reroute you to where you need to be. It will look for it and try to seek out more answers. I mean, if it goes down to the other idea of if you decide upon a car that you really want, like the type of car, the make, the model, what happens? You see it everywhere because our brain is wired up that way. If you put your attention on something and it has an emotion to it, it seeks it out. It pops up everywhere in your reality. But what are we seeding to our unconscious mind? What are we focusing upon? We must focus upon what we want, and then it will allow that new way of thinking to where you want to be. It'll look for it in your reality. It will begin to change how you see things. You won't be deleting the outcome. You won't be distorting your reality. You'll actually be getting the clarity to look for what you want in life. That's a really powerful insight for me. The day I realized where I was putting my attention and I realized it was going in all the places I didn't want it to go, then it's got to be something that we've got to change on the inside. And you're in charge of that. You create the images in your mind of how you want to be or where you want to be going in the positive. Make those pictures big and bright if need be. Turn up those feelings on the inside so it gives your unconscious mind the value as to where it wants to go. I mean, we're run by feelings. We're run by where we're heading. And those feelings motivate us. Those feelings give us drive and a way of being in this world which motivates us. So if we attach those real strong emotions in the positive to where we want to be, our body, our unconscious mind, or God, the universe, whatever you want, whatever your philosophy is or your way of being, your personal truth, it will work and conspire in your favor. Your brain will look for it. It will have that energy of this is what I want. We're stacking up that emotion to give your unconscious mind the signal that that's where we're heading and that is our now goal and outcome. Forgetting about what we don't want. Focusing on exactly what we do want, and it'll start to pop up in your reality. But here's the thing, we can't just focus on what we want, Rad, because I could just focus every day on my goal, but if I'm not doing anything about it, it's just wishful thinking. We must follow it up with massive and inspired action. We must do things. We can think and feel these wonderful things, but if we're not matching it up with doing things to make it happen, then we're not going to really get there. So be sure to take action on your goal. Now, people say, well, I don't know what to do. Well, at the end of the day, just investing time in researching, reading about your outcome, and watching inspirational things, or it could be things such as, let's see, the type of things you could do could be grateful, feeling that attitude of gratitude. That changes our emotional state. I really believe that if you know your outcome and then you act upon it with your feelings, so you get those good feelings, those actions will become clear to you. It'll just like come out of the blue that things will start to happen. You'll begin to know what to do. But we've got to just get our mindset into our outcome, and then those feelings come, and then we take the massive inspired action. So yes, do whatever you can, but I really do believe that those action steps, they'll come to you. And it doesn't have to be big action steps either. It's the small, subtle, consistent ones. So whether it be putting half hour out of your day to read and educate yourself, or to listen to audio programs, or to do your passion. And if you do those things, that is a great stepping stone. And those stepping stones become big leaps in a short period of time. So if we're knowing our outcome in the positive and we're taking massive and inspired action, we have to then be aware of the results that we're getting. You see, if you keep noticing that the things that you're doing are not producing the results, we just don't do it anymore. We've got to learn from that, right? I mean, what did they say? They're saying about insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So we do not want to be doing the same old behavior which is not getting our results, and if we keep doing it, we're going to keep on getting it. So we must do something differently. We've got to be flexible in our behavior. So if we become flexible in who we are, it does not matter about our environment. It means that we're adapting to our environment. So the things that we do, we become more flexible, we try out new things, we really modify our behavior, realizing there's no such thing as failure anyway. We just learn from the thing which is not working, and then we get the learnings from it and adjust our behavior to make that happen. And if we keep doing that modification, that adaptation, that learning, that way of being flexible in our actions, we're going to definitely grow as a person. We're going to learn from our so-called failures and actually get better because of them. So the more things that you do and learn from and grow from, you're going to really start heading into where you want to be. So let's just have a quick recap so far. We've got to take responsibility. We've got to focus on our outcome, have those positive feelings there because our body runs off those. Those are the higher values which motivate us. And then we've got to take massive inspired action as well as learning from each step along the way. If it's not working, we become flexible, we learn from it, and we do something else. Now, the last idea I'd like to talk about is having the physiology and psychology of success. I really believe that we've got to nourish our mind and body. We've got to really put our attention onto where we want to be. We've got to have that psychology of this is where I'm heading, this is who I am, the powerful you as a person. Getting into that mindset will feed through to your neurology, and on the same notion of that, looking after the physical body, because that will help your mind. I mean, they're both interconnected. So if we begin to operate in a physiology and psychology of excellence, we're running our internal system in alignment with our goal. So let's think about this as a last idea. Assume the feeling of having achieved your goal. Like really get that positive idea, image, and feeling to your goal. And then as you assume that the success of that goal already, act upon it with conviction. That's like the taking responsibility and the action there. And as we do, we become very aligned with where we're heading. We're taking that action, we're learning, we're having that psychology and physiology of excellence. I really believe if you follow those steps, you're going to really make some wonderful changes. You're going to start to really grow as a person, and you're going to get to that goal. I'm never going to say it happens in 24 hours or an hour, because some things take time. I mean, you don't expect to just put some seeds in some soil and a bit of water and within 24 hours you've got a tree. It takes time. So just keep on watering those seeds, keep on nourishing your mind, and keep on nurturing yourself, learning and growing, and then it will begin to grow. So just keep that persistence. At the end of the day, anyone who's achieved anything are people who have done things consistently. I mean, we see these overnight successes, but I can promise you they're not really overnight successes. The small steps going in the background of that person cause that perception of overnight success. All the things that I've done, I've had to really go for it consistently and keep on taking the action, focusing on where I'm heading, and that then perceives like a very quick overnight success or over a short period of time. But it's not that way. Take those small steps, keep nourishing yourself, plant those seeds in a nourishing environment, and it will allow you to grow to where you need to be. So I hope you enjoyed this audio. If you're listening to it on my app or this video on YouTube, for example, if you like it, please leave a review, whether it be on the app or whether it be on YouTube. And oh, one more final thing, if you'd like to go to josephclough.com/radio, I'm doing a new radio station, okay? So you can log on online, listen to me live, and even give me a phone call and I'll answer it live on the air. Now, to be able to do that, I would like to go to josephclough.com/radio because that'll just give you a bit of information, a few updates of how it's going to work, get used to the system. It's all free, and it just means when it comes to the real live show, you'll be able to log on without any issues at all. So that's pretty important. So josephclough.com/radio. And until next time, I look forward to speaking to you very, very soon. Many thanks and goodbye.